Hello, and welcome to the BinSense Direct setup and training video presented by Clews Management. This video is intended to walk you through initial setup, training, and troubleshooting for your BinSense Direct handheld. For first-time users, you will need to register your account. You can do this from the main login page. When setting up your account, please be sure to select Clews Management as your dealer. This helps for troubleshooting and allows us to see your readings to better help you if you need it. On the first login, you will be prompted to set up your first bin yard. The first step is to give the yard a name. Once named, you will be prompted to drop a GPS pin on the yard. You can use this map screen from either the map or satellite view. Alternatively, you can copy and paste your yard's GPS coordinates in the top section to quickly find your yard. This part is useful to help create your yard layout. Once the location has been set, you will be in the structure creation screen. From here, you can add bins by selecting either a flat bottom or hopper bottom bin. You can then name the bin, confirm the bushel capacity and diameter. For the power source, you will select battery powered. The next page, you will confirm that the monitoring will be with a direct handheld unit. After the monitoring type is selected, you will find yourself back on the map page, and the bin structure you just created will appear in the center of the screen. You can zoom in to see it better, and then press and hold on the structure to move it into place. You can continue adding more structures on this page, or, if you are done, you can click on the Next button and finish the site creation process. You will then be taken to the default landing page on the Storage tab, as seen on the bottom of the screen. Initially, you will not have any readings for your bins, so we can start by selecting the Direct Scan Cables button along the top of the screen. Ensure your BinSense Direct is nearby, has the batteries in place, and your Bluetooth settings are turned on for your phone. You should see the serial number that is printed on the back of the handheld show up in this page, and you can click on it. Once connected, you will see this graphic indicating you to connect to your cables. Once you have plugged your cable into the Direct handheld, you can click on Scan Cables on the bottom of the screen. If you scan, and this is an unrecognized cable, it will ask you if you would like to add to a bin or replace an old cable. For the initial scan of a bin when you are setting up your yard, you will select Add to a bin, at which point you will be asked to confirm which yard site and which bin to add this cable to. If the bin is not seen in this list, then you can select the Create a New Bin option and go through the same process we did before to create a structure for the yard. If the bin is already created, you can select it from the list. Once you have selected which bin you would like to assign the cable to, you will be taken to a side view of the bin and see a green banner stating Values Added Successfully. This cable is now assigned to this structure. So the next time you scan the cable, it will automatically assign the readings to this bin. Once you have your yard set up and taken several readings, your default landing page on the Storage tab will look like this. This is the grid view and provides a quick visual layout of the status of the yard. Each bin card will be colored in green, yellow, or red, depending on the temperature of the grain and its proximity to the threshold level you have set. You can also see the highest temperature, highest moisture, commodity type, and grain volume for each bin. The list view is similar, but shows only the colored banner, bin name, highest temperature, and commodity. Clicking onto any one of the bin cards or banners from the grid or list view will take you to the bin view page, where you can see more details of the bin. Once you have a few readings taken, you will be able to determine the number of sensors covered by grain to ensure most accurate monitoring. Starting at the top sensor, if you click on the temperature value, you will see a graph that defaults to the readings taken in the last week. You may need to expand your range to see more data and can select on the 1 month or custom date ranges. In the case of this top sensor, we are able to see a rather large swing in temperature between readings, and we can determine this sensor is exposed and reading ambient air, which will fluctuate with daily temperature. Selecting the sensor below, we see a much more steady temperature, and can determine this sensor is covered by the grain. We can then select the Set Fill Level Here button on the sensor we have found to be the topmost covered sensor. This will allow for the most accurate feedback on inventory and temperature monitoring for your bin. The green banner indicating Sensors Updated Successfully confirms that the settings have been applied. As we scroll down this bin view page, we can see lots of more in-depth information on this bin. We can change the commodity type as well as manually set the grain volume. The BinSense system will provide automatic feedback of grain volume based on how many sensors are covered, and the maximum capacity of the bin that you input when building the structure. If you would like to have more accurate inventory management, you can manually set your grain volume on each bin. For bins that have moisture cables installed, the moisture values will be applied to the bin and tracked along with the temperature readings. If you do not have a moisture cable, you can manually input the moisture value for tracking and inventory purposes. If you want to directly compare the most recent readings with a previous date, you can do so by selecting the Compare Past Readings, and then select the drop-down of the previous date that you want to compare with. This brings up a side-by-side comparison column of the maximum temperature at each sensor level. Sensors that have been indicated as being exposed by the previous step to determine the grain level will be shown in gray. The next portion of the screen shows a graph, similar to the one seen when selecting the individual sensors. This graph is providing a reading of the highest temperature across all sensors in the bin. This graph can be adjusted for weekly, monthly, and custom date ranges as well. If you want to take new readings for a bin, you can select this floating button on the bottom left of the screen that has a silhouette of the BinSense Direct handheld. This button can be found on any bin view page, but will put the sensor values into the bin that the cable has been assigned to. The next tab in the bin view page is Settings. This page is where you can change the bin name, change the commodity, and set temperature thresholds. At the bottom of this page is a moisture offset setting. For those that have moisture cables in their bins, this offset allows you to adjust the feedback of the moisture sensor if you find the values are not as accurate as your benchtop or elevator tests. The final tab in the bin view is the Notes page. You can use this to track any notes related to the bin that you would typically have written down in the dryer shack or a ledger. The purpose of this is to have a cloud-based notes area that can be shared with others in the operation. Selecting the gear cog icon on the bottom right of the screen takes you to the App Settings page. From here, you will be able to create more yard sites and bins. You can switch between the yard sites in your account by selecting from the drop-down at the top of the screen that shows the yard names. If you need to make edits to the details of a bin, such as the name, capacity, or change from a flat bottom to a hopper bottom, you can do so from the List view in the storage page, and then swipe to the left on the name bar for that bin. Selecting the pencil icon will open the Edit page that you can make these changes. Once you are done, you can click on the Next button to go through the pages and save your changes. You will see the green banner indicating the bin has been updated to confirm your changes have been saved. You can make bulk changes to the settings of several bins through the Bulk Changes tab. From here, you can click on multiple bins and edit the commodity and high temperature settings for each. Please note that for BinSense Direct customers, only the commodity and high and low thresholds will apply. The other settings on this page are for wireless customers. When making changes, please be sure to click on the Submit button on the bottom of the screen to save your changes. This concludes the training and initial setup for the BinSense Direct handheld system. The following section will be related to troubleshooting and diagnosing of issues that you may come across. The most common issues that we have from customers is related to connectivity with the Bluetooth Direct handheld and their phone. If you are unable to see the serial number of your handheld appear on the Bluetooth connections page within the app, Please ensure you have a fresh set of lithium batteries in the handheld. If the issue persists, try turning your Bluetooth off on your phone settings and restarting your phone. Other issues related to connection and readings that we have relates to older handheld units and the new moisture cables on the market. BinSense Direct units require a minimum hardware and firmware version to read moisture sensors manufactured after 2021 due to a change in manufacturing process. If you are unable to read newer moisture cables, please select the three-dot icon in the top right of the Direct Connection page after you have connected to your device, and note these versions before calling our support team. Depending on the age of your device, a free upgrade for the firmware is available to allow older units to read the new moisture cables. If you notice an extra string of sensors in a bin, this is likely due to a cable being associated to an incorrect bin. This occurs during the Add New Cable process when the Direct unit notes a new cable and needs to determine where to save the readings. If this occurs, you can go to the Settings tab of the Bin View page and find the Direct Cable Management section. From here, you can select the cable that you know is in the wrong structure and select Move Cables to move it to the correct structure. If you are unsure of which cable belongs in the bin, you can select both cables and then click on the Remove Cables button. This will delete both cables and their historical readings from the bin, but allows you to start with a fresh slate and reassign the cables to the bins they belong to. The BinSense Direct system is designed to be cloud-based to save your readings. If you are in an area with intermittent or poor internet signal, you may find you have difficulties saving your readings or getting your app to sync to the server. If you select the gear cog icon on the bottom right of the screen, you will find the App Settings page. From here, you can select the option to switch to offline mode, which will prevent your app from trying to connect to the server. All readings will be saved locally to your phone until connection to the server can be established. Once you are back in an area with good internet connection, you can go back into online mode and then click on the Sync Data section on the bottom of the settings page. Here, you will want to click on the Sync Now button. This will sync the readings between your phone and the server to ensure all data is saved and updated. Once the data has been synced with the server, as seen by the green banner on the bottom of the screen, you can also select Clear Local Data. This function clears any data that is saved locally to your phone to ensure there is no issues with the data syncing process in the future. For any other issues you are having, please ensure you have updated your BinSense mobile app in the App Store, and then you can call or text our customer support and training team at any time.